Ladies and gentlemen, we are taking it back in time to the greatest game on the PS2. No, I'm just kidding. Although it is a pretty good one. Welcome to a review on one of my favorite games growing up, Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I just want to also say, if you like this type of video, let me know with a like or even say hi in the comments below. Getting all of this gameplay and making this video in general was quite time consuming. It took me a couple of weeks, and I'd like to know if you guys want to see more videos like this on retro games. Things like the PS1, PS2, PS3 era. I guess PS3. Is it retro, guys? I don't know, but you get the gist. So before getting into the game itself, let's get some technicalities out of the way. I guess Dark Legacy is what I would call an ARPG, dungeon crawler type of game. I'm pretty bad with labels and putting the type of thing on a game, but playing games like Gauntlet is what got me into games like Diablo and Path of Exile when I got a little bit older. I was a wee lad when I got into Legacy. It's developed and published by Midway Games, and it's a company which, after doing a few quick Google searches, I found it appears to have filed for bankruptcy in 2009 and was subsequently dissolved in 2013. Dark Legacy is the 7th installment of the franchise. It is preceded by Gauntlet, Gauntlet 2, Gauntlet the Third Encounter, Gauntlet 3, The Final Quest, which obviously turned out to not be the final quest, so unfortunate titling there, and then Gauntlet 4, and then Gauntlet Legends, which, interestingly enough, Dark Legacy is known as somewhat of an upgrade to Gauntlet Legends, because the game essentially took a lot of elements, levels, and bosses from Legends and then added more content onto it for a more complete, robust, thick game. I've at least tried every Gauntlet game that is out there because mostly my dad actually was into the old Gauntlet games, so I tried them through him. But this one was always my favorite. So it released initially in 2000 as an arcade game, looking like such, you know, one of those old things one of your cool uncle talks about or something like that. And then after that, it was ported to the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PS2. There's also a Game Boy Advance game. It looked totally different than what the console games and such looked like, but it still looked kind of fun to me. Maybe I'll have to pick it up one day just for the collector in me. But this review will be on the PS2 version of the game, which released in May of 2001. I'm going to do this review in a way where I don't spoil a lot of like end-game boss battles and things of that nature, and I won't show any post-game either, because I already have gameplay on the channel, and also just in case my boring ass makes you want to try the game for yourself. You never know. The game is played in an overhead, third-person viewpoint with a pivoting camera that follows you and kind of turns as you move through the level. Once in a while, I would actually get turned around from this if I wasn't completely paying attention. The graphics really aren't that great, even for the time period, in my opinion, but they're good enough to let you know what's going on. Meh. It doesn't ruin the game, but they're, you know, like, take it away from it. You can also tell the game was made with multiplayer in mind. Some bridges, for instance, are set up that you need 2 players to cross or things like that. There's even 4 spaces, as you see, for characters. Multiplayer is mainly how I played when I was growing up, but, you know, don't worry about it. Multiplayer is not necessary. I played this playthrough completely solo for the review, and, you know, I don't know a single person who is into this game, so, you know, I'm flying solo. The gameplay loop itself is fairly straightforward and pretty repetitive, which I guess could turn some people off, but to me it's done in a fun way. There's 8 realms, each of which has levels to clear in order, and then finally a boss battle at the end of these little maps. The levels are set up in a linear manner where you just need to kind of plow through enemies, which spawn at generators, which you also need to destroy. And there's kind of like little various puzzles and tons of secret walls and things of that nature. Like, no, seriously, tons of secret walls. You won't trust walls in any video games after playing this. I took that with me my whole life. I always check walls now in video games. I'm ruined. I don't trust walls. In addition to fighting your way through thousands of enemies, there's various items that you will need to be on the lookout for. Firstly, each realm needs a specific amount of a specific color of crystal to gain access to that realm. The crystals are just scattered around the realms as you're playing. just to pick up passively. It's kind of just a general roadblock to progressing too fast and going where you shouldn't be yet in the game. So the later realms, you'll start finding crystals for them later in the game. Second, we have shards, and these are dropped, one each from the bosses at the end of the realms. And when you assemble all 8 of the shards from the 8 bosses, you will get to access the final boss of the game.
Defeated the vicious Yeti and recovered his shard. Congratulations, you have recovered the shard for the ice domain. Continue now on your quest to recover all 8 shards that restore the entrance.
I almost forgot to mention the most important part of what you'll be collecting is obviously the 13 runestones. They'll be scattered throughout the levels of the 8 realms, and you're going to assemble them in the tower here to restore the connection to the underworld and hopefully banish Scorn to it. The last thing to be collected are called golden icons, which can be golden fangs, golden feathers, or golden claws. They're found in the levels throughout, but mainly dropped by larger enemies in the game called gargoyles, and they're used to access different areas of Summoner's Tower, the hub for the game. It's kind of just another progression checkpoint, making sure you're staying in the right areas of the tower. Nothing crazy. Also worth mentioning, although not necessary to defeat the game or progress, there's legendary weapons, one located in each realm, that can be used to assist with one of the 8 bosses. The weapon found in the realm isn't usually to be used on the boss for that realm, so you'll need to realm hop and come back later for some boss battles if you want to wait to fight them until you have that weapon. Speaking of boss battles, let's get to the part of the game that I think is the weakest point of the game and would benefit the most from some type of remake or remaster. Let's just get it out of the way, but yeah. Remake of this game would be pretty awesome, just saying. Anyone wants to do that out there. So it's kind of difficult to dodge attacks, and some seem like there's no way to dodge them, so you kind of just end up standing there and taking damage from the boss and spamming your attacks. The bosses look cool, the arenas are also pretty cool, but the battles themselves are what I would call the weak points of the game. And finally, in terms of length, the game isn't going to eat up most of your time. It clocked in for me at just under 12 hours. I did not 100% though, and I would say if I wanted to get all the secrets, maybe 14-ish hours for a one character run through. You could also go ahead and reach max level of 99 if you want. So there's more to be done, but to roll credits, just under 12 hours. Also, for some of the content, there are cheat codes. This is an old game, so it's into that type of thing, but I'm not really into it, so I didn't dabble at all, and I won't be covering those in this review. Alright, now that we got those things out of the way, let's get the story set up and where you kind of fit into this as a character. The game takes place in a world of 8 magical realms, overruled by a good wizard named Sumner. Stated that the realms prospered and had peace under Sumner, and he was able to keep a watchful eye over the lands from his own tower, which contained portals for him to travel quickly to and fro between the realms. However, we all know evil always has a tendency to creep up when things are going too well. Too well? Well, I don't know. Sumner had a younger brother, Garm, who became jealous of Sumner's success, so in order to strengthen his own magic, Garm sought the power of 13 legendary runestones. These would allow him to create a portal to access the underworld. However, the 13th runestone proved to be too elusive for Garm, so he just said screw it and went ahead and created this portal with 12. He did so in Sumner's Tower on a day when Sumner was traveling the realms, and without the 13th runestone, though, he was unable to contain the power of what came through the portal, that being a demon ruler of the underworld named Scorn. Scorn quickly crushed Garm and sent his spirit to the underworld. Scorn was able to send his minions from the underworld throughout the realms, since he had access to Sumner's portals. He sent the 12 runestones across various locations within the 8 realms, hoping they never be gathered again in order to send him back. Sumner quickly sensed this, being an almighty powerful wizard in a raincoat, and he came back to the tower and had a big old battle with the demon. He sealed off the portals, which are now being used by Scorn's minions, and Scorn fled to a temple, and there he sealed the entrance with 8 magical shards, as was mentioned earlier, giving one of them to a boss in each realm. After fighting off Scorn, Summoner was not able to break the seal of the temple. He's all tired out. So he summoned the men with the largest muscles, I guess, and the women with the largest breasts. Yeah, wow. No, the strongest individual from each of the 8 realms to be tasked with gathering the 8 shards, 13 runestones, and banishing Scorn back to the underworld. And this is where your playable character's story starts. And with that, let's get into those said characters. First off, they're based off the 4 main character stats that the game has: strength, armor, magic, and speed. I think it's pretty straightforward what these things do. I don't think you need me explain anything else. I don't even know what else to say. But the warrior and dwarf are high strength, the Valkyrie and knight are high armor, the wizard and sorceress are high magic, and the archer and jester are high speed. Each one of those 8 characters also has a secret character, or a beast within as they call it, that can be unlocked in a secret level called a treasure room. There's one of each of these in a realm, and the character you unlock in each realm corresponds to that character's homeland. These characters are strong in the same stats, but they're a little bit boosted. So you have to collect all 25 of these coins in these rooms before the timer runs out, and it's absolutely terrible. That's why I'm not 100%ing this game. I couldn't imagine trying to figure your way out through this old game where you can't tell where the limits of where I'm walking are. Just look at this. It was terrible. I got like half of the coins. The Medusa character I'm playing is actually the secret character for the sorceress. I was able to do that one. There's a few that I got. Also worth mentioning, character combat doesn't vary a whole lot. Every character's ranged, so you're gonna either throw your held weapon, or you're gonna shoot your arrows or shoot your spells. So there's really not a huge change in gameplay based on what character you're selecting. So if you like melee primarily in games, maybe this will be something of a negative side to you, but I always play, a mage or a wizard or whatever, so playing ranged was totally fine for me. You have a base attack, and then a power attack, a little bit stronger, and 2 turbos. So you have this turbo bar. 1 turbo is for when the first bar is full, being yellow, and then your second turbo is stronger, that you perform when it's fully filled and glowing red like this. And the turbo is kind of OP. It kind of just knocks out everything in its way. You kind of want to use them strategically when you're in a tough spot. And then finally, your character will also just like auto melee when the enemies are directly in front of you. And character customization is pretty limited in this game. You can change the color of your dude or your lady between yellow, red, blue, and green. In terms of progression, you level up as you go, and it'll just increase your stats by 5 over time that you'll see in this little menu that you see between levels, where you can spend the gold you've acquired to buy power-ups or increase stats. I always just increase my stats. And then you get perks also at level 25, 50, and 75. For instance, the wizard I'm doing a playthrough with now, he can turn poison fruit into an apple with potions at 25, poison meat into a drumstick at level 50, and heal other heroes at level 75. So my overall review of this game, I would have to say, is there's no one thing in the game that I think I would say is amazing in terms of gameplay. At times it does show its age, and lets you know that it's a port from an arcade game. You get stuck in areas of the map when it feels like you shouldn't. Sometimes audio that you think should play seems to not play, and sometimes your attacks get stuck on invisible walls. I'm sure there's some other things that I'm missing as well, but those are the 3 quick things that I can think of. but I'm kind of willing to let all of this slide because it all just comes together for a nice experience. And when you're playing, it just makes you have fun, killing thousands of enemies while collecting various items with nice sound effects and listening to some badass music just works. Speaking of which, I should mention that I actually forgot to talk about the music, which I think is yeah, let's go ahead and say it might be my favorite part, because I literally remembered this music for the rest of my life after playing this as a kid. Just go ahead and listen to some of these. Yeah, I honestly think I'd have to say it's my favorite part. So, what do you think? Do you think you'll pick this game up in 2025 or give it a whirl? Or let me know if you have fond memories of playing it back in the day. Overall, I'd say if you're not in search of a super serious RPG, a game that kind of even knows itself isn't a super serious game, and you just want a good time with fast action gameplay, or even some good times with multiplayer, I'd say give this one a try. If you enjoyed this video, guys, why not subscribe so you don't miss the next game review? Until next time, peace.